their all-time greatest goal kicker, Taylor Walker, with a welcome off. Here's Rosselli. Rosselli kicks the goal.
Handball to the excitement machine, McLeod. Left foot goal.
Oh, don't tell me.
He's a superstar.
Don't tell me. Oh! He's yet to kick an AFL goal. Oh, the velvet curtain.
Walker, he's a colossus. He's kicked 5. He's been a handful. He's been the difference.
To cover himself in glory. He's coming back. And got there.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Proper Crows podcast. Thank you so much, whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or watching on YouTube at the moment. We very much appreciate your support. Today, of course, we are very up and about. We'll be running through the big win against the Pies from Saturday night at the MCG, going through a bit of your feedback from the game and also previewing the big clash with the Bulldogs on Friday night. My name is Ben, but it's not just myself here. I am joined by Dill. Dill, mate, how are you?
Good, mate. I'm very, very tired. I'm exhausted after a big weekend that we had over there. 4 games of footy. I think about 60 beers drank. But no, I'm stoked. What a win! What a win it was on Saturday night. It was a big one. We were expecting it. We did chat about this last week. We knew this was coming, but it's just nice to beat Collingwood at the MCG for once in our lives.
Mate, what a huge weekend, like you said. And like we were talking about it last week, we felt confident. We felt like on paper we had a really good chance to, beat Collingwood for the first time over there in a very, very long time. And to actually see it come to fruition was, pretty special. Pretty special. Halfway through the last quarter, I'll tell you what, though, I was a bit nervous when they got to within 2 goals, but, then we pulled away.
Yeah, no, I was a little bit grim there for a sec. I was sitting there with hand in palms going, oh no, I was texting the missus halfway through and said, we're pathetic. Here we go again, game over, and got told to grow up. And turns out that she was right, because we bounced back there. I thought we were at all sorts. I thought, here we go again, not good. Typical Crows choking, but thank God that Collingwood don't know the stand rule and let us back in the game and sort of, we sealed it from there, didn't we? But no, it'll be good to dissect this all because, it was just an absolute ripper of a night.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you say, mate, they are obviously very confused about the stand rule. And apparently the commentators are on their side because, ruin the game, yada, 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 even though you did the wrong thing and you were nowhere near standing. And just a frustrating one. But we're not surprised by that commentary, but we don't give a fuck. So it's all right. We'll move on to the positives. What was the final score in the end, mate?
We kicked 13-15, 93, and then Collingwood kicked 11-13, 79. So a nice little 14-point victory there. Probably makes them look a little bit better than what it was with those 2 junk time goals, up by 24 points there. Probably could have held it to 5 or 6 goals there. Maybe even 6 or 7 if we didn't blow it in the end. But no, nice little 14-point victory. Had Thiel kick 3, Fogg incoming with 2 each, and then Neil Bullen, Pedler, Keys, Cook, Rash, and Saligo all with singles. So a nice spread as well that sort of trickled into the midfield there with some goal scorers as well. So it's nice to see us sharing it around like we did last season, and even having a couple of midfielders hit the scoreboard, which we were so desperately calling out for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the spread is one of the most encouraging parts of it. It was, like you said, your Saligo, your Cook kicked 1, Cumming got up forward and kicked a few. Neil Bullen was on the end of 1. Obviously, he's more of a forward, but he still got in there. I think, one of the big positives to me, like I said, we were challenged very early in the 4th quarter and obviously got it back to 12 points at one stage, and we were all sitting in the stands going, I can't do this again. We've read this story too many times. Collingwood are going to kick 2 goals and win by a point or something like that. But the boys were composed, got it done, got it back on our terms, and just sort of, ran away with the game, which was really, really encouraging. And it started in the middle. We'll talk a bit more about Lockie McAndrew in a second, but the midfield that's been so heavily criticised over the last 6 months stood up and won clearances against, your Josh Dacos, your Nick Dacos, your Pendlebury's and all of that. So I think that's the biggest positive out of this one for me, is they were challenged, they stood up, and they were able to get it back on our terms.
Yeah, no, it was a real gritty win, wasn't it? Very similar to what we saw early in the day from Aldrich Lane over at Rose Hill race 3, or he had a nice little win on Benny pre-game. but no, it was good, wasn't it? You know, we were challenged there, and normally we've seen us time and time again just sort of bend over and say, "Go on, do it," you know, and we stepped up and we sort of, you know, hit the nail on the head of just go. And we were pretty dominant there to the last 6 minutes. I nearly said it again. The last 6 minutes of that last quarter, we sort of ran over them. Besides the last 90 seconds where they kicked those 2 junk time goals. But yeah, the midfield was just really, really good. It was, I think, being at the ground sort of maybe opened my eyes a little bit more to how dominant we actually were. There was a lot going off, you know, off ball and sort of backs behind setup of just stuff that you don't see on the telly. Like I think Sam Darcy was elite. You had, even though Archie didn't have a massive impact in terms of possession, just the way that he sort of sets up behind ball and on ball as well when he does push up off that forward flank was just great. And I think it all comes down to the big man Stretch, Lockie McAndrew, given us first use nearly every single time. I think at one point, I think it ended up being from centre bounces, hit outs to advantage, 7-0. It just paints a picture, doesn't it? So, yeah, it was a massive performance from the midfielders, and you still got, it's a very scary thought when you still got Isaac Rankin to run through there, you still got a Dan Curtin to run through there, and all of a sudden we don't look as exposed as what we thought we may have been.
Yeah. No, absolutely. You're completely right. And Lockie McAndrew just had 5 clearances of his own team high, just to add to his tap outs. But he was just putting it down the throat of them every single time, particularly in the third quarter when we obviously kicked 6 goals in a row and really busted the lead open. He was just put it down Berry's throat, Peatling's throat, whoever was around there, he was just hitting it straight to them. And what a difference it makes when you got a ruckman who taps to your own team rather than just, yeah, you know, Rob, and I'm not trying to bash Rob. I'm you know, done plenty of that in the past, but obviously a big part of his game was, he wins the tap, but you're not necessarily putting it to your players. McAndrew on Saturday night, he won a tap and it went down the throat of the players, and such a difference in the efficiency of the group.
It does make a massive difference, doesn't it? Because, you know, I think the mix that we've got there is such a mix of burst, speed, and just grunt. So I think we really realised that when Barry got first hands on that, he was gone. And he backs himself in, which I loved. He's quicker than Dacos, which I didn't realise that Sam Barry was that quick. I knew that he was quick, but he backed himself in to sort of arch the back and go past him. I think he did it 4 or 5 times. You know, just absolutely burnt Dacos. You know, Peatling, we knew that he was quick. You know, he got the ball a couple of times and bang, he burst out. Jordan Dawson was getting first use and off he went. It was good to watch, and it was so just relaxing in a way to have a. I'm one of Rob's biggest fans. You boys know this, and you know the regular listeners would know this. But it was just so relaxing to watch us get first use of the football for once. You know, and it wasn't against some spud either, against Darcy Cameron. Like one of the better ruckmans that you're going to face that, you know, suits these new rules as well. So I think McAndrew's going to have some very, very big days out this year. He's going to murder a few ruckmen, absolutely murder a few. But he's got a very hard start as well. You know, he probably faces 3 of the big 4 ruckmen in the league that these rules suit. Darcy Cameron, Team English, Luke Jackson.
Yeah,
3 of the first 4 weeks. 4. Yeah, so I think it's going to show us where he stands, and if he does it again against big Tim English on Friday night, or even matches Tim English on Friday night, I'm going to be pretty happy, and I think we might have seen the death of Riley O'Brien unfold in front of us on Saturday night.
Yeah, if he keeps that up, it's hard to make any sort of case to bring him back in because he's not that second ruck. You can't go, you know, McAndrew and Rob, because Rob just can't play that second chop-out sort of role. So it's either you go Rob and Toby Murray or you go McAndrew and Rob. McAndrew and Ibis. Just, you know, after watching Saturday night, I can't create an argument for it. I can't see it happening.
No, and Jordan Dawson was actually on 5-all this morning. And Dawes did say that there is going to be times where Riley O'Brien does play, but I think that might be when Stretch is going to need a rest. Like, it's going to be his first full season of proper football, you know, as a genuine first choice ruckman. No, he's 25, but I think it's got to take its toll on him at some point. So you might see Rob chop in for those games against the Eagles when they got Matty Flynn. Even against Essendon, if he's going up against a Nick Bryan, or a Port when he's going against Vicentini. A few of those dud ruckmen that aren't. Dud ruckman is a bit harsh. Matty Flynn's probably the only dud ruckman in that group. The rest, the other few are capable, but those boys that don't have that sort of dominance that your Darcy Camerons and your Team Englishes do, that Ibis and McAndrew are able to sort of nullify. Because I thought Toby Murray wasn't that bad either. He only had 2 touches, but he had his 8 hit-outs. And he was always around the contest. He was affecting the contest every single time. He had a few hard chases, out of the forward 50 that Rob you just wouldn't see Rob do. He was bringing the ball to ground and giving us first choice. So I thought Ibis was great. I thought it was really, really good. And he's probably cemented a spot for the next few weeks going off that. I think he's going to be important this week going against big Sam Darcy and Tim English. It doesn't get much easier for him.
No, it's a pretty daunting couple of weeks for him. But I back him in after what we saw on Saturday night. I think they're good enough to match it. And obviously, first game, we don't want to overreact too much, but it was positive signs, and we're all up and about for big stretch, and the Ibis coming off the bench as well. I want to get one negative, and I think this is my only negative from Saturday night that I could pick. I didn't try hard to pull a negative out. I didn't want to, but Rory Laird stuck out like a sore thumb coming out of defence. Still had his 25 touches. He had 19 kicks, took 11 marks. That's a positive for him. But could not find a target to save him, and kicked into the man on the mark, and, got smothered and kicked it to the wrong place and the wrong people and turned it over. A warrior of the group for so long, but I don't know. And we said it after the trial. We said the exact same thing after the trial. We can't be having that coming out of defence.
Yeah, it was a little bit hard to watch at, time to time. He's, obviously they get the ball into his hands so often. But I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's just a bit of rust or a bit of, I don't know what it was, but it was a bit of a hard watch at times. And he's been such a massive part for the club for so long. But I think it's an easy thing for him to clean up as well. I think he just needs to breathe, off he goes, and just, if he hits his first couple of targets, I think he's going to be fine. But God, he had a real rough start. I think that is the big worry as well. Not a big worry. I think it's the only worry going out of Saturday night was the ball use when coming out of halfback, when it wasn't in an Isaac Cumming hand or in a Wayne Miller's hands. The second that ball hit Hugh Bond or Rory Laird, I was like, oh no, what is happening? Because I personally think that Hugh Bond had an absolute shocker at the first half. He shut down Jamie Elliott. Defensively, he was great. And also think that Isaac Cumming probably didn't start too great. He did kick the first goal, but he was shaky for that first quarter and a half. But he really did. He flexed his muscles towards the end. That goal that he kicked, outside 50 was just an absolute belter in the third. But yeah, that's a little bit of a worry. I think if the ball's not in Wayne's hands, if it's in Hugh Bond's hands or Roy Laird's hands, it is. Panic stations is the wrong word, but I don't want that happening. I don't want those little short bullshit kicks. That has to happen, I guess, for a good footy side. We've seen Dane Zorko do it so well and Brisbane do it so well for the last few years, and how much success they've had. When Wayne look at the role that Wayne played on Saturday night, and look at the stats that he had. Look how well he played. Look at Braden Cook. Yeah, look how well they played. Rory Laird he's great. He can win the ball, but Rory Laird for Luke Nankervis could be something that I would be very, very open to seeing at some point of the season.
Yep. No, I fully agree, because just touchy. Like I said, not panic stations, but it's just too many little mistakes like that. And granted, it didn't cost us too badly on Saturday night and you get the win. But against the good teams, you can't afford to be just giving up free shots that go off the half-back line. And, there are a couple where Lairdy was in the back pocket and he's turned it over at basically the 50-metre or just past the 50. It's just, you can't be doing that. Like, if you're gonna do that, just dump it up the line. I'd much rather just dump it up the line to a contest, force it out, make a contest or whatever, let the defence reset. Don't just go short just for the sake of going short if you're gonna turn it over like that.
Yeah, I think there was a very clear direction. I think I pointed it out to you boys pretty early of what we wanted to do. We wanted to play that quick transition game in between the arcs, go as wide as we possibly could, and hit that 60 to 70 meter zone just outside 50. And then you go to you went to a Thilthorpe or a Tex or a Fogarty inside 50, because that's just the way that the game moved, and we perfected that. In the third quarter, we were just very rusty, but in the third quarter, that's why we would. How well do we do it? We kicked 6 goals in the trot because we were transitioning so well from our back 50, winning the ball in the middle, hitting that 60 to 70 meter arc, and just scoring every single time. There was none of this stop start bullshit. We looked inside. We played off the stand rule. We perfected the rules, absolutely perfected them. So is Rory Laird the man to be playing that kind of game? The jury's still out, obviously, but I'll back him in to sort of clean up his disposal a little bit, and if he does clean it up, then you're in a good spot.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like I said, he's still other elements of his game. Like he took 11 marks. He had a lot of intercepts. I think it was maybe 8 intercepts that he had. So everything other than when he had the ball in hand and was trying to dispose of it was pretty good. It's just, I just worry about it. And like you said, with Bond a little bit as well, I loved his game defensively, but when he had the ball in hand as well, it was a bit shaky, a bit testy, a bit, what's going to happen here? But yeah, clean it up. Hopefully it's just a bit of rust early in the season, first game, clean it up, fix it up, move forward, and just, if they can get their disposal right, that's the defence looks like a very solid back unit all of a sudden. Well, not all of a sudden. It already was, but
yeah, 100%.
You mentioned him, You mentioned him in that little spot there as well, mate. Wayne Miller is someone who didn't have any issues disposing of the ball or finding the ball or any issues at all, really, on Saturday night. Had 34 touches, took 6 marks, had a clearance even himself, 673 metres gained, 21 kicks. He was everywhere. It was just, like I said, after that trial game against Port, was really playing that controlling role off of half-back. Stepped up, just did it all. Really happy with Wayne's game, and it was good to see him get some flowers on Sunday as well from some of the media outlets too.
Yeah, he was very good, wasn't he? If he stays healthy, he's going to be, I think, one of the most integral pieces to this puzzle, I guess, of how well we play and how we do play our brand of footy. Because he's 28 now. He hasn't been too fit for a bit of his career, but if he's able to play the role that he did on Saturday night to that effect, he's going to have a few massive days out. Because just the way that he sort of moves around the ground, he just glides across the field. How clean he is with his possession, how much he backs himself into a sort of evade a tackle or them coming at him. He's just he gets the ball, the game slows, and he's finally hitting his straps at 28 years old. And we could have a I'm not calling him Dane Zorko, but Mr. Dane has had a late flourish, is what I'm saying. He's not quite Zorko's age, but I think we could see a Zorko-like, later career domination, I guess, if he keeps this up.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like you said, mate, it's all about getting that body right and keeping it right, because that's obviously been the problem since he came into the league. But yeah, he was just so good. He was just controlling that defence. Whenever the ball went in his hand, you knew it was going to, something good was going to happen. He was dodging tackles and just cool under pressure. I think it was was it the second quarter or maybe the last quarter where he almost got caught holding the ball and he's dancing in a phone box between 3 Collingwood players. Somehow manages to get around them all and whacks it on his boot and clears it out of 50. And I think we took a mark and, went forward, and don't know if we kicked a goal from that passage, but just so cool and composed under pressure. So get the ball in his hands and we're sweet.
Yep, 100%. If he's the one that's going to be sort of distributing off half back, then I've got zero issue with that at all. Just keep it away from Bond and Laird, please.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. Next up, let's talk about a man who had his first game in a real sort of not quite full-time midfield role, but Joshy Rochelle, 24 touches, 1 goal, 6 marks, 3 tackles, 3 clearances. Could not have asked for a better performance for him as his first game, sort of really pushing up the ground through the midfield on a solid basis. What were your thoughts on his game, mate?
Yeah, no, he was pretty dominant, wasn't he? When he was around the football, when he had ball in hand, his decision making is just great. His forward craft, forward half of the ground is just elite. His entry inside 50 is just elite. He's just he's a superstar, and I think we're going to see a star unfold this season if he's got anything going off of Saturday night, and he did it on the brighter stage of them all as well. So it's very pleasing to see, and we haven't even got Rankin come back in yet. So I think it may be a little bit deceiving. I think the midfield minutes that he got on Saturday, that's my one thing. But honestly, if he plays that and Rankin can sit more forward, then I couldn't care less, because I think I'd rather have Rankin sitting forward and Rush playing through the middle.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, mate. It was you're probably right about that being maybe a little bit deceiving, because obviously Ranks is going to take up some of those minutes. But I think it's just really encouraging the amount of people that we can have rotating through that midfield. And at a time where you're still missing Dan Curtin, you are still missing Rankin, you've got all these blokes who can step up and play a pinch hit. You saw Riley Thilthorpe go through there for, I think it was 4 centre bounce attendances. And I know some of the opinions on that weren't flattering going into the season, but watch that one where he wins the clearance and he bursts out of stoppage. How do you tell me that that's not a good thing to have in your team?
Oh, if he kicked that goal, I think the 20,000 Crows fans there would have fucking torn the place to shreds.
Yeah. That was, it was unbelievable. I mean, granted, he probably didn't make the right choice where he kicked it afterwards, but he's a big bloke who probably hasn't played much midfield time throughout his career yet. So that can come. Bit of composure, he'll be right. The man, what do we think? Didn't play that much midfield, was playing up the ground a bit. Alex Neil-Bullen, I think that was his best game in Crows colours so far. What do you have? 26 touches. He kicked a goal. He took 7 marks, had 14 kicks, a couple of tackles, couple of clearances. He was just absolutely everywhere, all over the field. He was just doing it all, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was so good. He was so good, and I think this is where the Calamachi acquisition is gonna sort of affect us the most here, because they play the exact same role, just on opposite flanks, and having to worry about both of them, you're sort of pushing up the ground and then pushing back into that forward 50. Yeah, fucking good luck. Good luck. You've got 2 premiership half forward flankers that can push up, play on a wing at times. It's just you're just not going to be able to defend both of them. And he was so damaging, but without being the star. I think very very underrated game. It was funny. I was talking to a couple of blokes walking out, saying how good was Neil-Bullen. They're like, oh yeah, he was all right. He had 26 touches. You just didn't even realise it, did it? He was just an absolute freak, and he's another great trade from the LA Football Club.
Absolutely, just class. I mean, we knew what we were getting when we picked him up, and he was always going to be this. But it's just, it's been really good to see him grow into this player and put it on the field. And like you said, with Cal Archie coming in, you've got a bloke on either side who can do basically the exact same thing. So very, very encouraging for that forward line, and just it's good to have some class delivery taking it in. You got a forward line of Tex, Still, Fogg, Rankin, Rash. We've got that many blokes up there, and you've got these two feeding it to them. Just so good, so good.
Yeah, 100%. It's gonna. I didn't even think about. I didn't think about it until I was sort of playing. It was mid. I think about half time on Saturday, when it clicked to me. I'm like, fuck. There's Neil-Bullen and Archie out there, both premiership players that are feeding this ball in, and then you've got players. It also frees up like a Benny Keys as well. To play more of a forward-based role.
Yeah, no, exactly right. Because he's normally probably sitting on the other side where Archie would be. That pushes him forward. He can push up the ground a bit further. Uses his speed to burn him. Our forward line is so exciting. I just can't I can't put it into words. There's just that many different layers of it. So, your talls, your smalls, your medium-sized players, they're all elite. Get the ball forward, just let them go to work.
Yeah, we went through a trenches there for a couple of years with our forwards, so it's good to be back.
100%, mate. Were there any other points or players you wanted to highlight before we move on to some feedback from the listeners?
Yes, just one, Josh Worrell.
Yes,
just an
of course.
absolute superstar. That bloke is he's a freak, and
Star.
massive up to the club for signing him up for, to 2031. Like,
Yeah.
huge, because that would have been one that I think that if he signed up for 2 years, not on massive money, that Tassie would have come hard for, I think. So he's just a star, isn't he? He's little. Like, I think the one thing I noticed on Saturday night is they cleaned up his disposal a lot. That was probably his most shaky asset. He rushed a lot of bomb kicks, but when he plays where he does, it's fine. But he was just rolling around. He dominated on Saturday night. Absolutely dominated. So just a big shout out to him, because I think he's come leaps and bounds from where he has, and he was robbed of All-Australian last year. So to improve on that, he's going to be a very dangerous opposition matchup for whoever he's on any week. He's gonna cause a lot of issues.
Yeah. No, absolutely, mate. And like you said, absolutely robbed of All-Australian last year. Keeps his form up. You can't ignore that 2 years in a row and surely get one. But obviously, we'll have to wait and see with that. But if he keeps performing like this, there's no question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to some feedback from the listeners. And we also asked them to share any photos or videos that they might have taken while they were at the ground. And there's some bloody good shots. I'm looking at the one from Karen Parsons. She took a ripper of a photo of the ground from Saturday night. So if you want to check that out, head over to our Facebook, the full-time post from Saturday night. That was very, very good. Amy Moriarty said, "What a game. It was so good to see all the sad Collingwood supporters by the end. Gosh, they were quiet." They were all gone pretty early, mate. 7 minutes to go and it's only 4 goals and they're walking up the aisles already. It was pretty surreal.
Yeah, no, it was pretty funny, wasn't it? There was one fella. I don't know if I think you were sitting on that end of the row when we sort of said, "Where are you going, mate? What's going on?" And he said, "Go on, Dan, come have a chat." There's fucking no one standing between us, mate. What a bunch of fucking sooks they were. Like, fucking, what a bunch of sooks. He probably won't be listening, but if anyone that was at the game and that was at our end, they would have seen this one bloke in Bay M11 running an absolute fucking muck. I've actually seen it on TikTok. A couple of videos have come up of him over last 24 hours. He was running an absolute fucking muck. He had the bay to our left on a string, the bay to our right on a string, and he even had people in level 2 on a string. And these sooks got him kicked out halfway through the third quarter. But if he was there, good on him. We ran into him at the Cricketers' Arms post game, and we took over the bottom floor of the Cricketers' Arms there for about 5 minutes. The bartender's thinking, "What the fuck is going on here?" Because he's heard "you crows" through the whole thing. It was nah. So shout out to that fella, because fuck, those Collingwood fans, they're a bunch of sooks, absolute bunch of sooks.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. They're very good at dishing it out when they're on the winning side of it, but can't seem to take it when they're on the losing side of it, unfortunately. But no, that guy, mate, I don't even know why he got kicked out. He wasn't doing anything malicious. There was no obscenities, no nothing like that. He was being a pain in the ass. So don't get me wrong. If I was down there, I'd be like, "Yeah, you're a bit of a pain in the ass." But there wasn't anything malicious in it. So I don't really know why he got kicked out, to be honest. But all good fun, and then. The best part of it was the reaction of the rest of the bay after he got kicked out. They all kind of just took up the role. So he had 50 people giving it to the people on level 2 instead.
Oh, it was so good, wasn't it? Even we were sitting up the back, and I think me, you, and one of the other boys started the big "You Crows" chant. That if you actually go back and listen to the broadcast, you can hear it at the end of the game. They were turning around like we fucking shot someone. Yeah, like, what is going on here? Yeah, they were chanting "Collingwood" when they were down by fucking 3 goals in the last quarter. They thought, "Yeah, here we go," and then they give away that fucking ridiculous stand free kick. That 50, and they shut up and they're having a whinge. But I think that was genuinely some of the funniest 5 minutes of football I've ever watched. When they kept giving away those free kicks and seeing them all go bananas was fucking hilarious.
Oh, mate. Special. Obviously, we've been to the last 4 or 5 Collingwood aways at the MCG. Obviously, experienced 4 or 5 games of under 2 goals losing. It just satisfaction. Just after so long of doing that trip and, being on the receiving end of those same Collingwood fans getting in your face and being up and about was so good to just flip it over and just be on the, to sit there with a smile on your face and just wave to them on their way past.
Yeah. A massive shout out to everyone that did travel over there because, we're at the game on Friday night, and there was heaps of Crows fans.
Yeah.
On Friday night at the footy. There was lots there. I think there was actually more Crows fans at the GWS Bulldogs game than there was Giants fans. And I'm not even kidding
Yeah.
either. Like that is genuine. Like we had a lot of people said that as well. There was so many Crows fans there. And even at the Port game on Sunday, it was just so good to see Melbourne just, it was like we were playing in a final over there. It was just
Yeah.
good to see, and it sort of made me appreciate how good the fan base is. Like, I hate some of our fans sometimes, but we're a pretty supportive mob, and no, it is very, very good to see. So good on everyone that got over there, and people that actually attended the game, even if they weren't. Yeah, don't get me started. But yes, if you got out of bed for Saturday night, it was good to see you.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. And yeah, like you said, just great travelling fans. It was so good. And if you watch some of the highlights, like that Ben Keys goal in the last quarter, if you close your eyes and just listen, the crowd noise from the Crows supporters is, I'm not even exaggerating when I say you listen to that with your eyes closed. It is like Collingwood kicked a goal.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like a home crowd. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, like you said, mate, we have some of the best fans in the league, travelling in big numbers. Obviously, Saturday night at the G round 1 is going to help, but maybe that'll give the AFL a bit of a kick up the arse to be like, oh, maybe let's not put you at Sunday 2:50 against Richmond at the MCG because you guys can actually draw a crowd for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't understand, or like Thursday night, I understand Thursday night because we're still going to get a fucking crowd travel over there. But they also have the TV views that are going to go through the roof. Like, why the fuck are we versing the Dogs later in the season on a Thursday night at Marvel Stadium?
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a complaining for another day, the fixturing. We were going through it actually yesterday at the pub. I'm thinking, what is going on here?
Yeah. No, bit of a stinker. Anyway, back to Facebook. We've got James Hampton that says Junior was absolutely everywhere tonight. Easily my pick for the best on with, I think it was 34 touches. Spot on, James. Obviously, we spoke about Junior a moment ago. He was absolutely best on ground. Paul says, I knew we had it with 15 minutes to go when the Collingwood crowd were leaving. It's like you were listening to us, Paul. They were just, I certainly wasn't comfortable with 15 minutes to go. I was shitting myself, to be perfectly honest with you. But maybe with like 30 seconds to go, I was comfortable and able to be like, yep, this is good. This is done.
Yeah.
So that was the feedback from the listeners. If you want to provide feedback at any point, head over to Proper Crows Pod on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you may want to go, YouTube, Spotify comments, you can jump in there as well. We'll always try our best to read out as many as possible. Let's move on to our votes for this week, mate. I think we're probably going to be pretty similar. Who gets your 3?
Start from 1, go 3.
Yeah, sorry, who gets your 1? Yep.
1, easy. Josh Worrell for me. 1 vote, as I touched on before. He was just elite. He was just an absolute mountain down there. Ball use was cleaned up. Nothing got past him all day. Just intercepted all night. It was just good to see. So, yeah, Joshy Worrell, my 1 vote.
Absolutely. 1 for me goes to Alex Neil-Bullen. I think, he, like you said, a bit of a under the radar, really good game, but he played an exceptional game. So, like I said, best game in Crows colours for mine, Alex Neil-Bullen with the 1. Who have you got for your 2?
Alex Neil-Bullen for me. We just swapped him around here. And I take it that you've got Worrell at 2.
I do indeed.
Then I take it that we both got the same man at 3.
Yeah, Wayne is at the 3. There is no question about it.
Yeah, no, that was probably one of the easier weeks that we're going to have in terms of votes. But I will give a mention to Sam Darcy, who just missed for me. I think it was probably one of the better games that he's had in Crows colours. He's come leap and bounds in the off season.
Yeah.
Just I'm very excited to see where he sort of goes to this year, because I think he's got the ability to become a very, very good B grade footballer for us. You sort of see all of those good teams have a midfield that can sort of have a midfielder that can go in and do that pinch hit sort of stuff. They can play on a wing as well. And I think Jared Berry may be that man for us. So I'm very, very keen to see where he goes with this game.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mate. I'll just correct you quickly, because if I don't, someone will pull me up. Sammy Berry was, very good. But his clearance work was, just second to none. I mean, like we said earlier, he was getting first use of the ball and he was showing what he can do. Some midfielders just aren't going to be that go in and win it. But if you hit it down to him, he can show his pace. He can burst away from the packs. He can do it all. So I was really impressed by Sammy Berry too, and he was a very close honourable mention for mine as well. Let's move on to a couple of news segments that we want to bring in, mate. I'll let you introduce it, because you've been pretty keen on this. What are we rolling with next?
Just something to sort of to break it up a little bit. I know this is a Crows podcast, but I think sometimes it's good to sort of go to expand outside of the Crows and get something that's really tickling us, because a lot of times we sort of mention some bullshit and we go and we spiral on it for a little bit. So I think if we bring this in, it's going to stop us from spiraling. We can hit it on the arse once and then we can move on. So
good chat.
I think we're going to go proper good and proper crap. So essentially what's going to work, it's going to work. I'll explain it to these guys if listening. Proper good is something that we've liked in the footy world, over the last 7 days, be a decision or, a good moment that we've seen in a game. And then proper crap is going to be probably more directed towards, a story or a commentator or something like that, something that we haven't liked, or a dog shot, like a Tom Lynch on Jordan Butts last year, something like that. That's really pissed us off. So this may stop us from spiraling mid-episode. We can break it up. We can chat about it now, get it out of the system. We can go from there. Even if it's a personal pot shot at one of us, we can get it out the blood, because I know that you boys love coming at me, so it's fine. So what I'll do, Benny, I'm going to hand over to you first. What is your proper crap moment from this weekend?
Proper crap. And I watched back the replay and the highlights, and it would be Gary Lyon on the frigging commentary of our game. He was proper crap. Could you be any more negative about it? Something good would happen, it'd be, Collingwood this, Collingwood that, the free kick against Collingwood. It was, Collingwood are undersized, Collingwood are missing some players. Fuck off. I don't want to hear it. Sick of it. Shut up. Gary Lyon, proper crap.
Mine's very similar. Mine is to Tony Shaw. I don't know if you saw it. He came out and said that the moment of the game that that stand 50 was paid against Taylor Walker, that the players weren't given a chance or a warning. Tony. It doesn't matter what part of the game it is. If you break a fucking law of the game, you're getting penalised. They've had all off-season to understand what this new stand rule is. Someone needs to man the mark. 5 of them ran out, and then Nick Dacos ran through the protected zone.
Yeah.
I don't know what more could have happened. It was just, so Tony Shaw, proper crap. Don't like it. It doesn't matter what is going on in the game. If you break the law of the game, you're going to get penalised for it. Simple as that.
Yep. Exactly right.
Then, Benny. Do you want me to go? Do you want to go?
Yeah, no, you go.
Here you go. I think my proper good moment was fucking Stephen King's reaction to Bailey Fritsch's winning goal on Sunday against the Saints. It was just good to see. Just good to see some actual passion, no bullshit in the coach's box. With everyone wrote Melbourne off, and the way that he reacted, it showed some real grunt, some real emotion, and here we are. It was just, it was nice to see, because I can't fucking stand St Kilda. I can't stand him. I love to see him lose. It probably helps a little bit, and I've got a, I've spent some time with Bailey Fritsch's dad. He's an absolute. He's a great man as well, so I've got a bit of a soft spot. One of my good mates knows Fritter, so that probably helps a little bit. But no, I think the reaction from Kingy there when he kicked that goal was nice to see, because everyone thought that Melbourne were going to struggle big time this year. So that was my good moment of the weekend.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's similar vein in terms of passion, and it's not just because it was Port that they beat. The Kangaroos win yesterday. We said it as we walked into the ground. The atmosphere in there for a North game is actually it's so much more than what you would expect. And I know obviously they've been pretty starved of success. They're hungry. They want to see something good. But just the noise of them when the Kangaroos ran out was absolutely incredible. We went to the Marvel game on Saturday, GWS and the Bulldogs, and that was dead. Absolutely dead. Stark contrast on Sunday where I think there were about 8,000 less people in the house. Absolutely pumping. So sitting at ground level yesterday, watching North absolutely destroy Port, and as I said, not just because it was Port that they beat, the passion of their fans was my proper good moment of the week. I loved watching that yesterday. You know, typically I'm not a North Melbourne glazer, or I'm not, thinking about North Melbourne too often, but that was quite nice to see. And I genuinely hope they improve this year, because those fans yesterday, I gained a lot of respect for them, and they certainly deserve it.
Yeah, it was good to see Paul get done, 100%.
Yeah, big time. Let's move on to the news. Only one piece of news, and it's not too bad. Sid Draper tweaked his ankle in the SANFL trial against Centrals on the weekend. Had scans today, and I think Mickey Godden came out earlier and said it's nothing too serious. He's still probably in line to play this week coming, but obviously they'll take a very cautious approach with it. So no structural damage, nothing significantly wrong. Maybe misses this week and then back the week after, so nothing too bad there for Sid. I think we all had a bit of heart in mouth when the report started coming through that he was taken off and in pain and not going well, but he is okay. He'll be completely fine. Seems like maybe just a rolled ankle, sprained ankle, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good to hear.
Absolutely. Now, let's look forward to this week. Friday night at the Adelaide Oval, we go and take on the Western Bulldogs, who look bloody good against GWS on Saturday. And their midfield, I'll tell you what, is looking pretty scary as well. But what are our thoughts going into this one, mate? Let's start with the Dogs. Let's look at the opposition first, and then we'll move into the Crows. What do we think they bring to the table on Friday night? I don't think they've never beaten us at Adelaide Oval. They don't play us here too often, to be fair to them. But what do you think they bring come Friday night?
They're a fucking good football side. Being there on Saturday was like, whoa, these guys are scary. Like, they are very, very good. It was just the way that they're able to win the ball from the middle, the way they transition from inside to outside. It's very, very scary. You know, you've got the combo of Norton and Darcy up there. What, Norton kicked 6, Darcy kicked 4. You know, you've got Matt Kennedy that can hit the scoreboard. You've got a Bailey Dale off halfback that can hit the scoreboard. You've got a Bond who kicks 3. Dale, you've got Libber. Oh, I think the big thing is you stop their transition footy. You got a long way to beating them, and if you're not playing one-on-one versus Sam Darcy, how are you setting up as a back 6? Are you playing a zone defense, which I think may have to be done? But look, I'll back in the boys. I'll back in Butts and I'll back in Worrell. I'll back in Muzz to nullify him. But I think it's more than nullifying Darcy. You've got to do a Bont, you've got to do a Norton, you've got to do a Kennedy, you've got to do a Libby, you've got to do Dale. You've got to do an Ed Richards. I didn't even mention Ed Richards. The names just go on and on and on and on. And I'm worried. Look,
it's a big challenge, I think. But this is, we were looking at last Saturday going, it's a big challenge. Obviously, the Bulldogs are a little bit faster than Collingwood, but I think it's a positive. Let's get a big challenge early. We beat them last year and with a very similar squad. I think we will be okay. Back at home, the Dogs won't play. You know, they're a fast team under the roof of Marvel, but it's a lot easier to be a fast team under the roof of Marvel, right? Adelaide Oval's a bigger ground. You got the elements coming through. We're going to have probably a bit of a wet week looking at the weather as well. I think we'll be right. But yeah, like you said, they are a scary proposition and they've got talent for days. But I think we'll be okay. I think we should be able to match them in the midfield, and we should be all right. Obviously, you don't want to let your Bonts and your Livers and your Richards and everyone in the guts get off the chain, but I think we can probably match them and give our forward line the first use, and that'll go a long way to it as well. Because obviously, we're looking at their players, but you got to look at our forward line as well and go, gee, the forward line bats deep. You've got your Dawsons, you've got your Worrell down back, your Wayne off half back. So there's a lot of talent in this game, and as a neutral, it'll be a great watch, I think.
Yeah, 100%. I think the overs in this game is a lock, is a load, because I don't think it's going to be very defensive minded. I don't think it's going to be very defensive minded at all.
Yeah. No, I fully agree. And obviously 2 forward lines that are very, very dangerous, and 2 midfields that can hit the scoreboard as well. So that's what we think the Bulldogs can win. This is a big question this week, and I don't envy the coaches. We've obviously got a man by the name of Isaac Rankin who has served his suspension and ready to come back in the squad. Who the hell does he come in for? Because, outside of Bond and Laird, who we spoke about a little earlier, there's not really anyone who had any question marks over their game for me personally, but you're not going to bring him in for a half-back.
Yeah, I think, so I'm just pulling up the team sheet quickly. I think, to much of my disgust, I don't want it to happen, but I really do think that a Luke Pedlar may make way.
Yeah, it is stiff, isn't it?
It is. It'll be very stiff, but it's the only thing that I can look at. Like, if we just sort of dissect this, Neil Bullen's not going out, Tex isn't going out, Keys isn't going out, Archie isn't going out, Peatland's not going out, Saligo's not going out, Rush isn't going out, Berry's not going out, Cook's not going out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it has to be Luke Pedlar. Unless they don't go as tall and go a Tex out and go a little bit smaller. But I think you've got to really take use of the Bulldogs' undermanned back 6, I want to say. I don't want to say that they're not great, but I think you've got to really attack that side of it, of an O'Donnell, a Lob, a Baku, a Buderick. You've got your O'Donnell and your Lob, but Lob isn't a great one-on-one defender. O'Donnell is a good one-on-one defender, but you've got to. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a real interesting one, because obviously you've got your Buku, your Rory Lobb. Bailey Dale's probably going to play more of an offensive sort of role off of that halfback. James O'Donnell, Buderick, you got Lockie Jackson, what'll be his 3rd game. They can be exposed going that way, and that's what, like in the middle, what I was saying as well. If you can break even in the middle against them, like I'm looking at that. Who's their main defender there? Rory Lobb. He paints lobsters on his head. Like, he's not a great footballer. He's not a bad footballer, but he's not a great footballer. I think give our forward line a chance and we should be fine, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 100%. And I think they got exposed a fair bit as well, Bulldogs, with being there, Stringer got off a fair bit. Yeah, they were wasteful with Hogan. Hogan was quite wasteful as well. It was, if you're a good footy side and you're able to sort of hit those targets, I think you can expose that back 6. But it's just going to be I think it's going to be getting the ball in a position where you are able to hit those boys. So if we're able to hit from the 80 to 60 meter arc, I think it's going to go a very, very long way to winning.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, mate. I suppose we'll get to the big question before we wrap up. Who wins, how much, and let's roll with who kicks the first goal this week.
Crows by 9 points. First goal, we'll go Riley Thilthorpe. We'll back the big man in.
Yep, absolutely. I think, Crows by, I'm going to say 22. I think we might roll away a little bit being at Adelaide Oval this week. I'm going to go Cal Archie for the first goal. He didn't kick one on the weekend, and I think it would be poetic to do it in front of the Adelaide Oval crowd for the team he grew up supporting. So Cal Archie for me. Anything else you wanted to touch on with the Dogs game, or anything else you wanted to mention before we head off, mate?
No, I think we've covered it. Unfortunately, won't be there Friday night, so make some noise for me, and hopefully see you out for a beer post game.
100%, mate. We will be there. Don't even worry about it. To everyone listening, thank you very much for tuning in. As I said earlier, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, we will have our review of the Dogs game out next Monday morning, ready for your working week and ready to go. Give us a follow at Proper Crows Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and fire it up for Friday night. If you haven't got your tickets sorted yet, get them sorted. Get down to the Adelaide Oval and cheer the boys on. Huge game. holistically looking at it for the ladder for the whole year, it'll be a very big game and could determine top 4. Who knows? See how we go. Thanks for jumping on, Dill.
No worries, mate. It's sort of awoken me a little bit because I was very, very tired around an hour and a half ago. So this is kind of woken me up. So, no, it's been nice.
Beautiful, mate. And, thank you, everyone, for listening, and go Crow.
Go the Crow.
Ring the bell! Ring the bell! The bell in the city of churches! Stand up like Matthew Nicks and rule like you never have before!
Jarman again, round the body, that'll do.